wisdom,
prudentia,
justice,
justitia,
temperance,
temperantia,
courage.
fortitudo.
Applying ancient philosophy to modern life. This is the Sunday Stoic.
Welcome to the Sunday Stoic Podcast. This is Steve. The audio quality this week may be a little bit funky as I'm recording with my phone, but family life makes this the only way I'm going to get a show out this week. Well, it's almost February 2020. That's weird. We're the last full week of January here, and I must say I'm not living up to all of my resolutions exactly, but as a family and as an individual, I have been working on becoming more active in community, more engaged with community as a way to both help myself to grow and to help others. I have not done a lot yet, but I've been moving in that direction, and that's been a good thing. And trying to just be more helpful at home and try not to sit. I'm good at sitting and contemplating while other people do work, and I need to help out more and more and more and make myself break that habit. But things like that I've been trying to be mindful of and work on. I hope your year is going well. Before I forget, a listener from last week's episode asked if I could give another example or a more concrete example of what I mean by discordant opinions. We talked about the Stoics saying we need to root out discordant opinions or opinions that don't mesh up with one another. So contradictions in our thinking. An example might be if you tell yourself that money is not a good, and you tell other people, you brag, well, money's not a good, only my character is a good, but and money is a preferred thing, but I even more prefer to have a good family and be with my family and things like that. So you tell yourself that. But at the same time, anytime you have a chance to work overtime or to make an extra buck, you always take it regardless of how it impacts your family. Like maybe you're supposed to go to a family event, but you tell your boss that you'll come in and work this weekend instead. And, assuming you have an option, you say, yes, I'll make extra money. And so you're always chasing money. Or maybe you tell yourself that you are not, a spender, that you're thrifty, but at the same time, you're ordering $400 worth of stuff on Amazon. These opinions can occur anywhere. Our views of science and religion and our views of what is good and what is not, things like that. And of course, sometimes it's hard not to hold some kind of contradiction because we don't know everything. And that's why the Stoics, and some things are unknowable. And so that's why the Stoics advise that we try not to hold opinions on things that we can't know, rather than hold contradictory opinions. I'm not saying that that's easy, but that's something they may recommend. This week I'm going to do a show where we have 3 readings, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. And I wanted to do something different, just kind of a random thing here. But I found that if you read the last thing they all have to say in their respective works. So from Marcus Aurelius, I'm meaning the Meditations. From Seneca, the last paragraph from the last letter of Letters from a Stoic, and the last paragraph or so from Epictetus's Discourses. I thought it was interesting that in all 3 cases, they have good advice in their last paragraphs, but also what they say kind of summarizes a lot of the themes you hear throughout their works. The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 12, number 36. Mortal man, you have been a citizen in this great city. What does it matter to you whether it's for 5 or 50 years? For what is according to its laws is equal for every man. Why is it hard then if nature who brought you in, and not a despot or unjust judge, sends you out of the city, as though the master of the show who engaged an actor were to dismiss him from the stage? But I have not spoken my 5 acts, only 3. What you say is true, but in life 3 acts are the whole play. For he determines the perfect whole, the cause, yesterday of your composition, today of your dissolution. You are the cause of neither. Leave the stage, therefore, and be reconciled, for he also who lets his servant depart is reconciled. All right, this is a crude kind of semi-live episode, so let me open up Seneca here. Pretty exciting, isn't it? Live radio. All right, so let's read the last paragraph from Seneca's letter from a Stoic. And what is this good? It is a clear and flawless mind, which rivals that of God, raised far above mortal concerns and counting nothing of its own to be outside itself. You are a reasoning animal. What good, then, lies within you? Perfect reason. Are you willing to develop this to its farthest limits, to its greatest degree of increase? Only consider yourself happy when all your joys are born of reason, and when, having marked all the objects which men clutch at, or pray for, or watch over, you find nothing which you will desire. Mind, I do not say prefer. Here is a short rule by which to measure yourself, and by the test of which you may feel that you have reached perfection. You will come to your own when you shall understand that those whom the world calls fortunate are really the most unfortunate of all. Farewell. This is from the last paragraph of Epictetus's Discourses. I care only about the things which are my own, the things which are not subject to hindrance, the things which are by nature free. This I hold to be the nature of the good, but let all other things be as they are allowed. I do not concern myself. Okay, so we heard from all three Stoics. Let's start with Epictetus. Epictetus saying, once again, basically how he opens the Discourses. He says, I only care about the things which are within my power. He's focusing on the dichotomy of control, and that is where the good lies, in my own choices. And he once again says, all in terms of other things, let them come. Let me receive riches or poverty or whatever comes. Let it come as it may. It's not up to me. I don't concern myself. Oddly enough, we hear somewhat a similar message from Seneca, where he reminds us that we need to work on one thing that is within our power, our perfect reason, purifying our mind to be as clear thinking and rational as possible. And that is what we should fully pursue. And other things we should not desire. He says, I do not say that we shouldn't prefer them. Of course, just like Epictetus ends, let things come as they may. There are things that I would prefer to have and things I would prefer not to have, but let them come as they may. And then he says, you will know that you are reaching perfection when you realize that all of those whom everyone calls fortunate are really the most unfortunate of all. So those who seem to be rich and powerful are often those who display virtue the least, those who rule as a tyrant, those who have so much wealth that it's real easy for them to be decadent. They are the most unfortunate souls among us. And then, as we began with Marcus Aurelius, he reflects on death, as Marcus often does, and says, in a way that reflects a lot of what Epictetus has to say, what difference does it make if your life were 5 years or 100 years? It's not up to you, and in the end we are all equalized by death. It's not up to you. You came from nothing and you're going back to nothing. The gods or God made you, nature made you, and you're returning back the same way. None of it is up to you, therefore it is not an evil. It is not up to you. It's just natural, like a fruit ripening. you come into being, you flourish, you ripen, you age, and you depart. Just like an actor being told to leave the play. You can think of the universe or God as having hired you to play a part. They put you on the stage. And the only thing is, you don't know how long your part is. So you are performing, and you might think, wow, I've done 3 acts. I have at least 5 more to go. I can't wait for the next act. I'm going to knock it out of the park. But then God or nature points at you and says, off the stage, you're done. This is where you depart. It wasn't up to you. It's not up to you how long you're on the stage. What's up to you is how well you perform in the moment. All you have is now. Perform well now, and depart gracefully, because you, in the words of Monty Python, you came from nothing, you're going back to nothing. And what have you lost? Nothing. It's the same kind of idea. It's not up to you. Things are beyond your power. Accept them gracefully. Give a bow and a grin, and depart from the stage. I would like to thank my patrons for making this podcast possible. Without your support, the lights would have been out a long time ago. And thank you for everyone who's written in. I should thank you all by name, but I will thank a few of those who have written in recently. Mark, thank you for writing in. It's amazing to get an email from Singapore. That's just made my day. And Mark sent me a graphical representation of progress working on trying to master, I believe, Stoicism, or just life balance with 10,000 hours of Stoicism, and showing what that actually looks like graphically and how much he's accomplished so far versus how far he has to go, and looking forward to improving. And that is great. That's awesome. And Peter, thank you for writing in also from the Netherlands, I believe you said. That's awesome as well. I hear from people from all these places that I may never get to visit. And Gary from the UK, once again, thanks for reaching out. It's very humbling to feel that I have, we're all cousins of the cosmos, right? And to hear from my cousins from all over the world, my Stoic comrades is amazing. So thank you all for listening. I apologize for poor audio quality and very little editing on this episode, but life is a contingency game. The podcast is a contingency game. I don't live in a fantasy world where I have a quiet house or a big house with a studio, and I do what I can, and I reflect on things as I can, and I thank you for following along with me. I hope you take some of this to heart and it helps you to think about things in a new way. So remember, from the 3 Stoics this week, try to work on perfecting your reason. Work on critical thinking. Get rid of as many contradictory opinions as you can. No matter what you did yesterday, you can start fresh today. The past is out of your control. Start new now. Remember that you never know when you're going to be called off stage. The director of the play might call cut at any moment. Perform as well as you can with the time you have left, and that time is now. And remember that things are in your power and things are out of your power. To focus on those things that are in your power and let the rest come as it may. There may be things that you hope will happen or you prefer to have happen, but you can count on the things that you have control over. Work on those things and seize the day. Carpe diem.
Thank you for listening to the Sunday Stoic. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, rate, and review the Sunday Stoic on iTunes. Become a member of the Sunday Stoic team, earn rewards, and be an integral part of the show by becoming a patron at www.patreon.com/SundayStoic. Contact the show by emailing sundaystoic@gmail.com or by leaving a voicemail at 501-503-3132. To find out more, visit www.sundaystoicpodcast.com.